Out of Left Field is brought to you in part by Coordinated Health Hazleton Campus. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the show. I always knew Joe Bogwist was cool. In fact, I still remember Bogfest 2002 when almost all of my class of Bishop Hafey High School gathered around Joe Bogwist while he played guitar for almost an hour and we all sang along. I always knew Joe Bogwist, blind since birth, was cool, but I never knew how cool until the 2018 Community Services for Sight No-Tap Bowling Tournament. Most people in the Hazleton area know that Joe Bogwist can rock. Blind since birth, Joe didn't let that stop him from pursuing his passion.
I had a transistor radio from when I was like 6 years old, and carried around, and I really got into listening to music and some of the great stuff that was on the air in the 60s and 70s with the AM radio days of being what they were. And then my grandmother got me a guitar. It was just a kind of a plastic guitar. It wasn't really a great one. And it had pictures of cowboys on it and stuff. It was a 4-string guitar. And I didn't know how to play anything. I mean, I didn't know a thing about a guitar, but I started playing it, listening to the Beatles and some of the stuff that I really loved on the air, on the radio. And then my mom got me a really nice guitar, classical, in '71. And it just kept on going from there. I learned a little bit from people friends of mine that could play, and then I went and signed up for lessons at a place called Staff Music Center in Hazleton on Wyoming Street. Came home one afternoon from school and told my mom, I just signed up for guitar lessons. I didn't even ask her if I could. And she said, okay. Yeah. So I went and I got a little further with doing that, and then the rest was just learning by groping for chords and listening to stuff on my records and picking it up by ear.
So Joe can rock, but did you know that he can also roll?
When I was in high school in Hazleton, I went to Hazleton, I was on the intramural bowling team. And I used to bowl with them. Went to school.
Were you always good? Were you a good bowler?
No. Whatever. Depends on what you call good. When I was in high school bowling, my average was about a 90. And then when I was bowling with the Blind Association, we used to go bowling on Tuesdays a long time ago at Bowl Arena before they remodeled it. And I was bowling around 100, 110 there, and 120 sometimes, and that's not too bad for a blind bowler. It's not great, but it's not bad.
This is just one of the great stories from Community Services for Sight's annual No-Tap Bowling Tournament. Joe's been helping the sighted in the community understand the challenges of being blind for years, and he's also been helping those that are visually impaired and blind understand that many of those challenges can be overcome.
My very first day on the job, the part-time president and CEO said to me, here's your desk, call Joe Bogwist. I was like, who's Joe Bogwist and where are you going? So I called Joe and I went over and I sat with Joe for a couple of hours and just talked to him. And he was just so welcoming. And I had never worked with somebody visually impaired, so I wasn't even certain at that point. I was right out of college if I was going to be able to even do this job because I had no training. But Joe trained me, got my feet wet, and Joe is truly an inspiration. If I don't know something or I'm working with a client and they approach me with something I haven't found before, I'll call Joe and say, hey, what do you think? How can I help this person? And he always gives me the right information. He's always willing to help people. He's a great advocate, and he's just an all-around great guy.
He's a good bowler.
He's a very good bowler.
Carl Scott is also a good bowler. He has 25 perfect games and rolled a .266 on this day, just missing his 26th perfect game. He's not a client with Community Services for Sight, but he's always at this tournament with the Pulaski Club from Hazel Township. In 2018, the club raised $1,500 for Community Services for Sight.
I wanted to establish for people you're a good bowler. When you come here and you see some of the clients, are you impressed by what they can do?
Yes, I am. Yes, I very am. As a matter of fact, there was one blind bowler I was watching on national television. They said that blind bowlers can't do nothing. This guy's averaging 212 as a blind bowler. He is basically fundamentally blind, but because of bowling, the man can throw the ball. The man can throw the ball. God bless him.
Your club gives so much. What do you hope people watching this will take away from either giving to Community Services for Sight or just helping the community in general?
I hope they give to the Community Services for Sight because I guarantee you, if I take my glasses off, I probably won't be able to see you at about 10 feet. Because I would probably more likely be legally blind without my own glasses, seriously.
Raul Velez is 16 years old and blind in his left eye. A role model for his younger sister, he doesn't let that slow him down whether he's bowling or playing football.
Because the helmet covers my left eye that really a lot. So I have to turn my head to my left side so I can see who's coming my way.
So, I mean, you manage with it. I mean, you're on the team, right? You're playing in that. So how do you cope with it?
Well, sometimes my friends tell me to leave my lead blockers and tell me who's coming or not.
So communication is key.
Yeah. As I going up and go to the NFL, I want to improve that. Nothing can stop you. Always believe in yourself. Never give up.
Sports have become an important part of the yearly youth summer camps hosted by Community Services for Sight.
Why sports?
Well, because a lot of our kids, when I first meet them, they'll often tell me they feel isolated. Gym class is something that they fear at school because the other kids are sighted. They feel like they're not keeping up. Some of the gym teachers, and physical education professionals, they do adapt a lot of things for our kids, but sometimes it's just not enough to make them feel included. Even while they're bowling today, a few of the girls, they weren't excelling the way that they wanted to, and they get upset. And you have to tell them, I'm fully sighted, and I'm going to do, not even as well as you're doing right now. So we try to just get them involved in things that every kid is doing, because really, we want our kids to be like every kid, because they are like every kid, they just do it slightly different.
It's all about building confidence and great memories. With enough confidence, who knows where life will take any of us? After all, no one can see the future. That's all the stories I have to share with you this time, but there's a ton more at ssptv.com and on the Samsung Productions app. Check out Out of Left Field on both. Until next time, take it easy.